What is going on, everybody? Welcome to FPL Today Live. Thank you so much, guys, for joining me. We're slightly early, but, you know, not too early. And as for... Can't talk. And, of course, as always, what is everybody drinking, first of all? I'm drinking Estrella, because I just had to pick up any beer that Sainsbury's sold on my way home. And if you hear my voice again, that's just my iPad confirming that you can actually hear me, and that's get chucked away. What a game week so far, if you have the right players, and I don't. So far it's been a bit of a struggle. As you can see on the screen, I am on 23 points, average of 19 points so far for the game week. However, I believe the players around me are scoring better than me because I've dropped to 33,113th, which isn't the best. Do have 3 players still to play though, but apart from Jesus and Loughton, I've been let down. And of course there's that Matthew Ryan on the bench with 10 points, which would have made my game week very, very different if I had put him in instead of Dobraka. So not great, but you know, still hope, especially with Kane as my captain. Kane gets a hat-trick with some Son assists and a Vertonghen clean sheet. Everything can be switched around completely. Before we get into the episode too much, let's see who is in the chat. Michael Ringsell getting the first comment in the chat. So if we can get a medal to Michael Ringsell. We've also got Byrie Brett. I can see your name. I've said it before. Seems like I'm a bit tongue-tied today. We've got Byrie Beckford. We've got another Hoops. Matthew Berry. Siraj looks like he can't stay, but he's popped into the chat just quickly. We've got Thomas McCarthy in the chat. We've got the False 9 in the chat as well. Tommy P is in the chat. So we've got a decent crowd here already. I just want to say a couple of things before we get into the stream as well. Thank you guys so much for the support as far as nominating me for the Football Blogging Awards. Unfortunately, I'm not a nominee this year, so you won't have to put up with me begging for your votes as far as me being a nominee to try and win the award. But all support was greatly, greatly appreciated. It looks like they have some heavy hitters this year. Last year, or the year 2016, they had Mini Minter, who some of you guys will know, and Spencer FC. This year, they've added AJ Free. So there's some people with million subscribers plus. So I was never really going to stand a chance. I think 2016, they might not have had as many people actually going for it as they did this year. So it's still much appreciated, your support, of course, as I try and make that viewer count actually resemble what is in the stream. And also I want to thank you so much for last week, the support last week. I think I had roughly around 4,000 views on my videos with me doing clips from my streams, as well as actually doing the usual videos that I do during the game week. So we had a good week last week. We've seen some growth return to the channel. It's been quite slow recently. You guys, of course, have been loyal and supportive, but growth has been a bit slow recently because I've only been really streaming consistently because of the newborn baby, but we're hoping to push out content. And finally, I will get into the episode, but go check out J&O. Actually, is it still called that? What have I actually called it? Let me actually bring it up for you. I have decided what I'm doing with my other channel. If I can find it. You'd think I'd put it in my related channels, wouldn't you? You now get a look at all the people I'm subscribed to. And I'm way down my list. Where am I? Entertaining stuff, by the way. Entertaining stuff, JNO. Just you scrolling through your subscriptions. And I've got quite a few, haven't I? Should have planned this ahead. There we go. There I am. JNO, the channel, is back with some new content. Not that it's on the front page. Still getting to work on that. But as you can see there, 2 new videos. A video by me, is Mohamed Salah as good as Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo? And goalkeepers England should take to the World Cup 2018. We are going to start doing football videos, just me talking about football, because I look at stats anyway for FPL Today. So I think this way I can do both channels and hopefully grow a second channel to something considerable. And, you know, get that bit closer to potentially being a full-time YouTuber. Anyway, on to the episode. Let's stop jibber-jabbering because we've done it for about 5 minutes now. Okay, so we've got some people letting me know who they need to score. So Raj needs Kane hat-trick. Byrie Beckford needs Ali to save his game week. We've got some people updating us with their scores so far. Some people taking -4s, Matthew and Byrie. 40 for Matthew, Byrie on 30. 52 for Another Hoops with Kane and Vertonghen still to play. Another Hoops, you're doing really well. By the way, you can also follow me on Twitter, where we do have these kind of conversations as well. I've been more active over the weekends on Twitter. The false 9, I want to rage sell Salah so bad. Okay, so you know what? That is something I actually thought about talking about. Good grammar. But I just want to look at what Salah's game was actually like. Purely because everyone's now like... Everyone's getting angry because Salah's scored all the time and now he's had a game week where he hasn't scored. And I'm sorry guys, I did kind of hope for it because I didn't have Salah. But if we actually look at his stats, he had 7 attempts on goal, 6 from inside the box. Shots on target, he had 0. Wow. I've just made a video about how good he is and how good his conversion is. Another Hoops. Thank you so much for the super chat. £10. Can we get some hearts in the chat for Another Hoops? Thank you so much for the support, Another Hoops. It's much appreciated. Yeah. Hearts in the chat. Make sure those hearts are in the chat. But anyway, sorry, back to Mohamed Salah. We've got no shots on target. That is shocking for someone that has played so well for so long. 7 shots, 6 from inside the box. 1 of them was a big chance and he had no shots on target. He had an attempt every 12.9 minutes as well. As far as distribution goes, he created 1 big chance and that obviously wasn't converted. Otherwise, he'd have got an assist. Actually, a pretty bad game week for Mohamed Salah, which is surprising. Stoke as well shutting him out, because if we actually have a look, Stoke have conceded 109 shots on their goal. 68 of them have come from inside the box and 38 on target. That is the worst record for any team in the Premier League in the last 6 game weeks, and Salah couldn't score against them. I mean, he has pretty much, I reckon, unless Kane does something mad on Monday, won the Golden Boot. Is he saving himself for the Champions League? That's potentially the case. Could still have a good game week 37 and 38. But that is quite shocking that Salah was, stats anyway, as bad as they seem to have been in that game. And I wasn't expecting that. I'm not going to lie, I just had a quick look. Thought I'd have a look to see what happened. And from that one game, it's not looking good for Salah owners, but it's just one game, so don't worry too much. We got Kentucky IPA just opened by Thomas McCarthy. Gameweek average is 31 now. Has it not updated for me? That's probably the case. Let me update the page. There we go. That's more like it. I knew it. And my overall ranks updated as well. So obviously I started the stream just a little bit too early. I'm actually 38,034. 26 points. Average is 31. You know what? Spurs players could still turn that around. Just really wish I'd put Matthew Ryan in. And you guys don't need to see that again. The false 9, 37 points. Triple captain Salah because I'm about 40 points behind the leader in our work mini league. He doesn't have Salah or Sterling. Epic fail. If you'd captain Sterling, you would have really jumped up your mini league ranking. Another player we can look at Sterling, of course, because right now he looks like, to me, the must bring in player for the double game week. Of course, not guaranteed he's going to play both fixtures. But if we actually look at his underlying stats, 3 assists in the game he played against West Ham, which gave him a goal involvement in that game of 75%, 4 goals scored. He was involved in 3 of them. He had 6 attempts on goal, 5 from inside the box, 1 big chance, 2 shots on target. He should have scored by the looks of it, 1 big chance missed. And then as far as chance creation, he only created 4 chances, only created 1 big chance, but he got 3 assists. Which means a minute per chance created of 23 minutes. So, to be honest, from what I can see there, it looks like he got lucky to get 3 assists. But I didn't watch the game, of course, so take what I say with a pinch of salt. That is just looking at the statistics. Thomas McCarthy, I think I have around 50 points. Bad game week. 50 points is not a bad game week. Unless Spurs players do something like incredible and you don't have Spurs players, you've had a good game week. Just Kane and Son left for the false 9. Svensson, how are you doing, my friend? Good to see you in the chat. Remember, like and share the chat if you want to support the channel. Barry Beckford, triple captain and Kane, game at 37, could be huge. I still think he's going to try and win the Golden Boot. I don't think he will, but it could mean a lot of goals for Kane, which would be good. Tommy P, thank you so much. Maybe next year, we'll see. But I think if the people that were nominated are the type of people that are going to get in moving forward, it might be a long road for me to get back into the FBAs as a nominee. Thomas McCarthy, free hit. What players to pick? Okay, so let's bring up a graphic. Free hit. We've got, of course, the teams with the double game week. We've got Arsenal, Brighton Hove Albion, Chelsea, Huddersfield, Leicester, Man City, Man United, Newcastle, Southampton, Swansea, Spurs and West Ham. Of course, Man City and Spurs look like they have a very good double game week. Man United also have Brighton Hove Albion and West Ham. So that's 3 big teams with good double game weeks. Arsenal against Burnley and Leicester. Leicester look like they've switched off. So, potentially, Arsenal will have a good double game week now. I mean, Leicester conceded 5 goals against Crystal Palace. And then Arsenal have Huddersfield in the final game of the season. Swansea could be your way to get some cheap players in that could be differentials. They, of course, are fighting for survival. Bournemouth, Southampton and Stoke. Then we got Crystal Palace, Stoke and West Brom. Crystal Palace aren't 100% safe yet, so they may be looking to do the business against Stoke. But that is, of course, if you're looking for some cheap options potentially and you like the look of that Crystal Palace versus Stoke fixture. If we look at the table, we can see that Crystal Palace are 11th on 38 points. Southampton have 3 games, so they can get 9 points. So potentially Southampton could get 41 points. Swansea could get 42 points. Huddersfield, West Ham, Brighton Hove Albion, Watford all have 3 games, so they can all climb above Crystal Palace. So Crystal Palace still need to get a result. Swansea just outside of the relegation area. They, of course, are going to need some results. They have got a loss, 2 draws and 2 losses, whereas Southampton have picked up a win. As far as the other teams around here, Stoke really need to get something pretty soon. West Brom, having looked down and out have actually gone and picked up a draw against Swansea, a win against Man United, a draw against Liverpool, and now a win against Newcastle. So they're fighting for their survival, potentially some West Bromwich Albion options as well. So West Brom don't have the double game week though, as far as I'm aware. Nope, they don't. So for them, if I can find out what fixtures they've got, it's looking pretty dire with Tottenham and then Crystal Palace. So Crystal Palace options I like because it's in their hands and they seem in form, and there's some good options there. Swansea, not necessarily in form, but their players are going to be cheap, enabling you to pick some of those Man City, Man United, Arsenal and Tottenham Spurs options. Tottenham Spurs. So hopefully that's given you some idea what players I'd look for. I think if we're looking at each individual squad, I think Jesus is pretty nailed on for Man City. Sterling looks like the best option into that side as a midfielder. In defence, you could pretty much go with anyone. As far as goalkeepers go, Ederson, again, might take a penalty at some point, potentially. So Ederson might be a good differential if he does take one. Man United, I'd say at the moment, I still don't see any Man United option that I have any faith in consistently scoring points. Of course, David De Gea is the most consistent goalkeeper in the Premier League, so you could go with Man United. Swansea, no players really stood out. You could go for a defender, hoping they get some clean sheets. Jordan Ayew seems the most likely to do something for them. Arsenal, Aubameyang didn't do anything in the Man United game, but Aubameyang looked good in all the games prior to that. Lacazette looked decent last game week, so you could go for one of those options. You could go for defence. Monreal seems the most likely to pick up points other than just defensive points. Spurs, I think if you have a Spurs midfielder, you're probably pretty fine with whichever one you've picked out of the main three, Son, Ali and Eriksen. Kane, of course, is chasing that golden boot. Defender-wise, Vertonghen is the one I've got purely because he seems most nailed on. Palace, you've got Zaha, you've got Milivojevic, you've got Van Aanholt to be looking at. Other than that, if I was going to take a punt on any of the other sides, you could potentially go Pascal Gross from Brighton Hove Albion. Chelsea, Willian still seems like the one that's performed the best overall during the season, but you could look at plenty of options in that Chelsea side. Huddersfield I probably wouldn't go towards. Leicester look like they're switched off for the season. Newcastle, some decent options there. Jose Perez potentially, De Vraka, but again, Newcastle now, are they safe? If we have a look at the table, Newcastle 41. They're not safe, but I mean, all they need really is like a point, and then they should be safe. So potentially Newcastle need a result while they've got the double game week. Watford, they could potentially get a result in the Watford game. Doubt they're going to get something from the Spurs game. West Ham, again, they need results as well. Arnautovic is probably the best one. Cresswell did get some points today as well. So those are kind of the players I'd look at if I was free hitting. What you'd have noticed from the game week just gone, if we scroll down to the results, there were some upsets. Stoke getting a draw against Liverpool. You've got Crystal Palace thrashing Leicester 5-0. You've got West Brom beating Newcastle 1-0. You've got Southampton beating Bournemouth 2-1. So these teams are fighting for the last. Swansea only lost 1-0 to Chelsea. These teams are fighting for survival. So there could be points to be picked up by looking at the teams that aren't necessarily the ones that have been in form all season, but now they need the result. Would I pick Giroud or Firmino for game week 37? Chelsea with a double. I'd go Giroud purely because that's a difficult question. Mombasadele with a very difficult question because, of course, Giroud isn't nailed on by any means, or is he? I mean, played in the last two. Didn't do anything in the last 2 games though, but did really well against Southampton. I'd probably go Firmino if I thought he was playing, but I'm not sure if Firmino will play. But again, if you hear that he is going to play, I would go Firmino. Been consistent all year round. Liverpool have, if I can find the fixture, Chelsea, difficult fixture, but if I had to go with one or the other, I would go Firmino, purely because his stats have outshone Giroud's. I know Giroud's getting probably a bit more game time at Chelsea than he did at Arsenal, but yeah, I can't convince myself to go with Giroud, although Giroud has had end of seasons which have been pretty impressive. So Giroud is definitely the differential, I think, even with the fact that he's got a double game week, and his price is probably pretty favourable as well. Not that I remember what his price was, so again, we're going to go and have a quick look at that. 8.3. Potentially you could take the risk because he could be an enabler. It's cheaper than Vardy, and Leicester, again, like I said, have looked like they're switching off. So another hoops. Thank you for the compliment, first of all. Selling Salah this week for Eriksen and getting him back game at 38 against Brighton. I think that's a good move. The Chrissy 95 doesn't mind about the Salah blank, going to make him more motivated. Look, I think in the grand scheme of things, especially for Salah, that game meant very little. He probably will want some more goals in the Premier League, but right now, and I imagine for a lot of the Liverpool players, their focus is Roma. If they can beat Roma, they're in the Champions League final. What do you think about Moses and Giroud? Just went over Giroud. He has been known to do really well at the tail end of a season. I think if he was given a good run in the first team and had a bit more form before this moment, I'd have probably brought him in. Moses, again, decent attacking stats. Is he going to be better than Alonso just because of a few good game weeks? Just, there's nothing about that Chelsea side that I feel confident in. I can't see myself bringing either in. And to be honest, I don't think I'll go with Willian, because I just think that Chelsea side have given up on the season pretty much. I think it's still possible for them to actually do something this season. On 66 points, if Spurs don't win their game, they're only 2 points behind them. I mean, Spurs should beat Watford. If they don't, then they do have something to play for, of course. But I just don't have faith in that Chelsea side, although win, win, win. But out of those wins, Giroud was probably the only one that had a game week where it's like he was a must-have player. Now, I could be just reading this wrong, and Chelsea could be about to go on a good run. Just as, even when I'm looking at the best performing players, none of the Chelsea players are getting close to being ones worth considering. So I probably would avoid Chelsea players, and I may live to regret that, because they could have an amazing double game week. Got the Chrissy 95, 49 points, everyone beside Bernardo Silva played. Bench boost, 10 points on bench, so pretty decent week. Might do triple captain for next with Aubameyang. Aubameyang could be a decent shout for the triple captain. With Burnley and Leicester, like I said, Leicester switched off. I'm going to keep saying it. Burnley at home. Burnley at home aren't as great defensively at home as they are. Burnley aren't as good defensively away, because Arsenal are the side that are at home. So I think Aubameyang could be a decent choice. It'd be a differential, because I don't think it'll be the most popular choice. I think that might go to Kane. So could be a big game week for you. Another hoops. Would you consider Sterling as triple captain? I've got Kane, Jesus and Sterling as options. I mean, right now, when I looked at players, Sterling is one of the standout options. Of course, I'm doing the research for fixtures and form, and right now, Sterling is the one that has stood out head and shoulders above the rest. Kane could, of course, do something tomorrow that would make me consider him. But right now, he had better underlying stats than Jesus. He's got better underlying stats than Harry Kane. And he's up there with Mohamed Salah as far as underlying stats. So I would probably go Raheem Sterling right now if I had to pick. That would be a lot to do with the fact that I want to try and hit the top 10k though. I think Sterling could be a good differential. I don't have a clue what the popular choice is right now though, so that could change. I hope to do another stream this game week, so hopefully we can get back to that question again. Should I triple captain Kane for 37? I think he'll be the most popular choice, Oladipo. Should you actually do it though? I mean, if you want to just protect your ranking or protect a mini-league lead, he could be the best shout. But if we actually look at total goals scored, he is not anywhere... Well, he's got half the amount of Jesus and Lacazette. He's got less than likes of Perez or Aubameyang, and that's in the last 6. As far as attempts go, he's actually not top. Kane has, of course, missed a few games, but not loads. He's had 7 attempts on goal to the likes of Rondon, Jose Perez, Rodriguez, Firmino, Wood, Jesus, Gale, who have all had 12 or more. Shots on target, again, he's not very close to anyone. He's got 3 shots on target. Big chances in total. Is Kane any further up the table? Again, no. So you know what? If his minutes of chance 40.1, there's players with better minutes per chance as well. So unless, again, if he does something against Watford, this could change drastically. But the stats suggest you shouldn't be triple captaining Harry Kane. By the way, that answer doesn't mean I won't be doing it. It doesn't mean it isn't going to be the most popular option. What it means is the stats right now for the last 6 game weeks suggest Kane isn't the best option. Sane or David Silva for Mahrez. I mean, if you can get Sterling, I'd go Sterling. I'd go Sane over Silva purely because I think Sane has more potential being explosive. Silva can be explosive as well, though, to be honest, with assists and so on. I just feel like Sane at the end of the season, World Cup coming, young, he's got the legs. Might be some tired defenders he can run at. Apparently Svensson says Pep said that he won't let Edison take a penalty. If that is the case, forget Edison. I don't suggest Edison. Matthew Berry, is it worth taking a -8 for double game at 37? So let's do the maths for you, Matthew. If we look at it, and you've got a player that is only going to play 1 game, and you could bring in a player that's going to play 2. If they play in both games, the player you bring in, and all things not going to pot, you get 2 points in each game, and the player you're taking out is unlikely to score any points in that 1 game, you're going to come out dead even. So if you're confident in that player, it is worth taking a -8. If you've got a player that isn't playing, of course it's worth it because you could get 4 points instead of 0. Again, by bringing in a double game week player. Other than that, if you're swapping double game week for double game week, I'd say then you need to be careful. You need to be very confident in the player you're bringing in. I would say it could be worth a -8, especially depending on what chip you are planning on using in that double game week. Jack Morgan, hope the little one's doing well. Thank you, the little one is doing well. A bit clingy, to be fair. Not really letting us get much done. Literally, she always wants to be held. Always, her feeding pattern's gone a bit out of whack as well, which is not worrying. It's just annoying. She's not taking a whole bottle at once. She takes it in little bits, but we'll get through it. You know, parent problems. Some of you may have had them, some of you won't have, but I won't talk for too long about that. What's my transfer plan this week? I want Raheem Sterling in. Again, if we go back to my side. At the moment, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 double game week players. Now, the obvious ones that I'd want to take out are the Burnley players. 1 game only. With what do I have in the bank? 1.6 in the bank. If I took out Goodmanson, it's only 5 million, so I'd have 6.8 to spend. And I took out Loughton. Loughton's cheap as well. So to make any big move, like getting Sterling in, I would have to save money, and I don't think I can save enough to upgrade one of these to Sterling, which is annoying. You could downgrade someone like Mahrez, because I'm not sure if you're going to get much out of Mahrez anymore. But then I'll be taking, it would be a -8 because I've got one free transfer. Jesus I'm happy with. Kane I'm happy with. Vardy I'll probably keep because he could still do something. Son I would prefer Eriksen, but that may change after the Spurs game. Lingard, again, I'm not over the moon with Lingard, but you know, I've got him. Maguire, again, I kind of wish I didn't have 3 Leicester players right now. I feel like it's Man City I need Arsenal as well. So I think Sterling would be my first go-to. And that might be for Mahrez. Then how can I get an Arsenal player in? That's the problem. So, and I mean, Ryan against Man United and City, not the best choice. And I've got bench boost. So I don't feel like I've played this as well as I could have. I think Son was purely brought in because I thought Kane would be out for longer, and he's not. I think Leicester have messed me up quite significantly. I thought Leicester would still be playing, still have something to play for. They're safe, and since then, a loss, a draw, and a loss. West Ham, again, have something to fight for. So I think it's mainly Leicester that are messing me up. If I had to keep players, of course, those two would go, Loughton and Goodmanson. But other than that, I think I'll take a punt on any of those players other than Mahrez and Maguire. So it might be those two that go. Mahrez is 8.8. So I could get to Sterling quite easily with Mahrez, depending on if I save money with the other positions. So I reckon Sterling will be the one brought in. I would like some Arsenal coverage because of the double game week, and I've just done that whole bit without putting my team up. So there you go, there's my team. So everything I said now might make a bit more sense. Yeah, I think it's these two I'm worried about, and the 2 players that haven't got a double game week. And of course I've got my bench boost to play. Could I potentially risk playing that in game week 38? Do I think they'd have better fixtures? Do I think I'd have differentials? Doubt it. So Sterling in. Who knows what else? I'll wait until after this Spurs game though. By the way, as I quickly pour my drink, or the rest of my drink, if you want to support the channel in any way, you can check out the links in the description down below. You've got the Patreon. You can also sponsor the stream, or do a super chat like Another Hoops did. Thank you so much, Another Hoops, yet again, as I pour a ridiculous head on this beer. And of course, like, share, and check out my other channel where I am going to start doing football videos where I talk about football. I'm currently doing a series where I pick my England squad, or kind of my England squad also with what I think Gareth Southgate's going to pick. So yeah, go check that out. Like and share that as well if you could. That would be fantastic. What do you think to triple captain Jesus next week? I would have liked it more if Jesus had done more this game week. But underlying stats wise, he's better than Kane. It could be a good differential. I don't think he's going to be benched, so I think he will play both games. So I do like more. I do like Jesus as an option. If we actually have a look, Jesus right now is joint first for goals scored on 4 in the last 6. As far as shots inside the box, he's also joint first with 4 in the last 6 game weeks. Big chances scored, he scored the most. He scored all 4 of his big chances, whereas Lacazette has had 3 big chances. He has scored 4, but one of them wasn't a big chance. You've then got total attempts on goal. He's got 12, That isn't the best in the league by any stretch. You've got Firmino, Jose Perez, Wood, Rodriguez and Rondon above him. But as far as big chances, he is top with 7 big chances. On target, he's second after Rondon with 8 shots on target. His shot accuracy is at 66.7% and his goal conversion is at 33.3%. So I would say right now, Jesus is looking like a very strong candidate for a triple captain for Game Week 37. I'd say it's him or Sterling as far as underlying stats go. Thoughts on Ramsey for Willian? Arsenal should revert back to their full-strength team as the second leg is this week. I imagine so. I would have liked to have thought that Arsene Wenger will try and go out on a high. I personally am not a fan of the team he played against Man United today, but I would like to think he'd like to go out on a high, on a positive note, with a good end to the season. I would prefer Ramsey over Willian, just because I think the Chelsea side generally is on a decline with the manager not in favour. They seem to be doing have a good season, have a crap season, have a good season, have a crap season. So they've kind of rotated how well they do. They should do well next season, hopefully, with no Champions League. So that could be something to look at as far as next season goes. But I would definitely go Ramsey over Willian. As far as stats go, if we look at midfielders again, who's actually coming out on top? Where is Willian? Okay, I mean, I can't see Willian. There's Willian. So as far as total goals, Ramsey is higher. As far as total attempts on goal, again, neither of that high, but it looks like Ramsey has had more attempts on goal than Willian as well. If I can even find Willian, or I've scrolled past him. Hazard is there. Willian has had more attempts on goal, sorry. Correction. Big chances in total. Willian again has had more. But what is Ramsey's game time? Ramsey's played 2 games and 180 minutes to Willian's 279 minutes, 4 games. So it's difficult to compare on their current form. But I personally, even if the stats are saying otherwise, like the look of Ramsey. The Christian 95, Lukaku was injured, more people getting on Kane. Aubameyang, so possible price rises. True. I don't have Lukaku. I don't think I'll be getting in Aubameyang because I'm happy with Jesus and Kane. So I don't think I have anything to worry about. Can I talk through City defenders who I think will play? That's going to be very tough because I seriously worry that there's young players that Pep Guardiola is going to want to have a look at in a lot of positions. If I look at Man City defenders, because clean sheet potential is clearly there. See, even Otamendi was rested game week 35 and played a total of 26 minutes in game week 34. And for me, he's been the most consistent player in their starting lineup. Be interesting on that Walker injury, because that might be something we can take advantage of. See, Company didn't play today. So I think Company should play next game, if there's no injuries there. I reckon Laporte is due a rest, having played 3 games in a row. So if I had to take a gamble on it, I would probably say Otamendi and Company are going to be the starters for at least the first game in the double game week. But I don't think I would take a gamble on both of them playing both game weeks. And if Company had the latest rest, I think Company's more likely to play both game weeks. But Company may be being protected because of his injuries. I think Edison would be the safest way into that defence if you really wanted to go in there. And I do like the look of Patrick Van Aanholt. He will be in my fixtures and form video as a suggestion. Stuff has already been done for that, but I won't record that before Tottenham play, just in case I need to add some Tottenham players to that video. I would say Company if you really want a Man City defender, but I do like Van Aanholt. I think Van Aanholt could be a good choice for you. The Chris 95, only Salah and Jagielka for next game week in the team that have one game week. I think Salah's fine to have only one game week as long as he starts. Jagielka, I think Everton could still get 7th. 2 games left, 6 points. It's 12 goals. I think Everton might be a team you want to avoid, because I think it's unlikely they're going to get 8th, so they've got 7th, so they've got nothing to play for. Upgrade Matthew Ryan. If you're talking about my team, I won't be upgrading him purely because I don't think it's worth the transfer. But if I was going for a cheap keeper, you could maybe look at Palace, and then maybe Swansea could pull some clean sheets out of the bag. Fabianski is a decent keeper. Could get a lot of save points. Could be some heroics from Fabianski. Any other keepers I would look at? Not really. Can't really think of any goalkeepers, which is why I probably won't be changing. Bellerin for Loughton. Again, that's going to take some money. And if I'm bringing in Sterling, I'm not sure I'm going to have the money to make that move. David Silva or Sterling? Silva took his rest. True. I mean, we could apply, of course, the same logic as we just applied to the defence. Sterling has played the last... Looks like he's started since game week 30. Really wish I had Sterling this game week. Silva rested, but before that, they played since game week 28. De Bruyne looks like he had a rest game week 33. Sane, he's had his rest game week 35. I really wish I knew what Pep was going to do, because that would be nice. Bernardo Silva doesn't seem consistent enough in the starting lineup, so I would say De Bruyne could be... can you rest De Bruyne? I suppose when you've got the season wrapped up, you could try Silva and Gundogan, or Gundogan, however you say it. Maybe rest De Bruyne, but Sterling could also be rested as well. I mean, you have to keep an eye on the press conferences, but I would say Silva, I'd imagine, could start both game weeks because of that rest, so it could be a good differential. What's up, Wazza? How you doing? As far as in-depth stats, I get them from Fantasy Football Scout Shane Quinn. It is a membership site. You do have to pay £10 or £15 at the beginning of the season, but that is you paid off for the entire season. So I like it. I like the way it's set up. It's really been helpful for me, and of course, because I've got this YouTube channel, it's also very helpful as well. I'm sure there are other websites that do it as well. And you could also always look at sites that do it for free. But because it's focused on Fantasy Premier League, I do prefer Fantasy Football Scout. Svensson, is playing without Kane too big a risk? Again, it's always one of those things. It's a big risk if he scores points. I think it's too big a risk, but if he blanks in game week 37 and you didn't have him in your side and you pick someone that scores big, you are going to be laughing and your rank will increase exponentially. So I think it's too big of a risk. I think there's a reason a lot of people don't have Salah, and it's because they want players like Kane and Jesus. So I think it's a big risk. You can take that big risk, of course, but I would suggest having Harry Kane. Okay, Mini Tyrese. Game week 37, Sterling and Jesus. Safe to keep those two and bring in David Silva as well. And since Lukaku has an injury, Nihibrovic totally off, are we liking at Rashford for double game week 37? I mean, he would be the obvious choice, I think. Martial may very well get game time as well. I mean, Rashford will want to impress because of the World Cup. Rashford would be a good punt. And potentially I could bring in Rashford for Vardy, which would give me money to bring in Sterling, potentially. So I like your thinking, Mini Tyrese. I like your thinking. That's potentially a big move because you're bringing in a double game week player for Man United who have good fixtures. So, yeah, definitely a good look. You've given me a lot to think about there, Mini Tyrese. Thank you so much for the question. TP, how you doing? Viali Wright just literally talked about David Silva. I think he's likely to play both games because he was rested against West Ham, to put it shortly, short and sweet. So I think David Silva could be a good look. I do still think Sterling and Jesus are the two to go for, though. And guys, we have caught up to the end of the chat. So I'm going to call the stream there, 47 minutes in. There will, or at least there should be another stream this game week. Probably on Tuesday is what I'm going to aim for. So make sure to be around Tuesday night if you can be to join the stream. We will have the Tottenham games cover and hopefully a bit more information about who will be playing and who won't be. Salah apparently with a possible ban. I did not know about that. Again, I will have to read on that. I have been at work and then had dinner, spent some time with the kids, so haven't been able to keep up with football news as of yet. Any idea what Salah's possibly getting banned with? Who is getting relegated? I'll quickly answer your question, TP, as you've just joined the chat. I think West Brom have left it too late, although they have done very well in the last 4 game weeks. I think Southampton, again, they could turn it around, so could Stoke, but I think Stoke, without a win yet, I think Stoke will go down. I think Crystal Palace will want to win to ensure their safety. So I think West Brom and Stoke are down. I wouldn't want to see it be Huddersfield. I think on current form, you'd have to go potentially Swansea. So I'd say West Brom, Stoke and Swansea would be the way I would go as far as who I think is going to get relegated. When is the next part of England squad video coming out? Of course, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, my focus will be on FPL videos. So I'll aim for Wednesday or Thursday as far as the next England video is. And we will call it there. So guys, thank you so much for joining the stream as always. If you've enjoyed the stream, please hit that like and hit that notification bell if you're a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe first, then hit that notification bell, because apparently you won't get notified of all my videos unless you hit that notification bell and then hit all videos. So make sure to do that. Check out all the links in the description if you want to support the channel. Thank you so much, Another Hoops, for the £10 super chat. You are an absolute legend. I've been JNO. This has been FPL Today. And go and check out JNO, the channel, because 2 videos have been put out on that. So go do that now. Awkward bit, because I felt like I was going to say something else and I haven't.